guys, welcome back to my channel and my kitchen. Today is day 9 of the zero waste challenge, so let's get started. Okay, so for day 9 I am going to read a little bit about what the challenge is about. Day 9, reduce your food waste. Food waste is a huge problem all over. 40% of the food that we grow goes to waste. That is really sad if you think about it. And it talks about like she's challenging you to eat your refrigerator. So like eat your refrigerator just means like eat what you have in the fridge. Stop wasting food. But I think we're all guilty of this. I mean, I know I'm guilty of wasting food, and it tends to be just because I'm busy or I forget that I have something in the refrigerator, or I'm just tired and I don't want to cook and then something goes bad. But honestly, there are so many ways that we could reduce our food waste. And I was thinking a lot about this because I was looking at the challenge ahead of time, and I was like, okay, what are some conscious things that I have done to reduce food waste? Because it is something that Adam and I have talked about in the past. This is not something new. We are definitely more careful about what we buy. A lot of what helps us is our food planning. So when we are planning ahead and we're planning our meals, like on Sundays, how I talked about on another video, it really helps us, because when we're planning our meals, we plan them here in the kitchen. We start looking at what we have and what we need to buy, and a lot of the time what we do is we look at the ingredients that we have and how we can incorporate them with dishes that we are trying to make. And if for some reason, like for example, if he has, let's say he has beef in the refrigerator, and he wanted to make chicken, he will go ahead and make the beef like this week, and then wait until next week to make the chicken, unless it's something like like you're super craving and you need to have. But I think we have become a lot more mindful about our food waste, because we spend a lot of money on food, and if you're just spending it and then throwing it out, that's just terrible. So we try to make our lunches. Obviously I mentioned that in the past, and like I'll give you an example. So during Christmas time, my dad was over here, and so was his mom, and we were cooking, and I said, like, for Christmas dinner, like for me, because I'm the only vegan, I was gonna make potato tacos. So I ended up buying a huge bag of potatoes, and I think like I have been using them slowly, but I have not been able to finish everything. And last week Adam boiled some potatoes for me, because I said I was gonna make some potato soup, and I still had a bunch of potatoes left over. So today I was like, you know what, I'm just going to make the rest of the potatoes and like the rest of the tortillas that I have, and I just made extra potato tacos. So I had some for dinner, and I have some extra ones for lunch tomorrow. But if I would have not, if I would have not done that, like those potatoes are gonna go to waste. And it's so unfortunate, because like we are trying to buy things and really consume them, but I think it's just like we either get busy, or like you end up going out to eat because it's more convenient, or you're tired and you don't want to cook, or whatever it is. Sometimes we even forget about the things that we have. So it's really important for you just to, again, like be mindful and be aware of what you have in your refrigerator. Plan around what you already have. A, it'll save you money. B, you're gonna produce less waste, which is also like something that we're looking at, especially for this challenge. And like here are a little bit of like little tips that I do. For example, for fruit, like bananas, I'm very picky with bananas. I will show you my little bananas. So like for bananas, I like them with a little green on them. Once they start turning super bright yellow with like the black spots, because they're a lot more ripe, I can't eat them. Like I just don't like the taste of banana tasting like so banana-y. But we don't throw them out. What I do is like I end up cutting them up and freezing them and using them in smoothies. So I know that some people say you could also when they get ripe, you could use them to make banana bread. So there are options for your fruit. Also, if your fruit's getting mushy, like if you have like mango or whatever, cut them up and freeze them. Like I have here, I'll take you in a little tour of my freezer. There's not a lot in here, but so I had some strawberries and I cut them up, just like cut them in halves and then froze them, and we'll use them for smoothies. But here are some bananas. So again, like they were ripe, I just cut them in half and then just freeze them. And these are great for just like making smoothies, or if you want to make ice cream, you can do that too. I also like to buy little breads from the bakery, but usually the packs come in like 6, sometimes 8, and that's too many. I can't eat them that much. So what I do is I will take out what I need and freeze the rest. I think that's pretty much it right now. Like we have some leftover onions that we dyed. Adam has some tops up here. Everything else is just veggies and fruit that we've had in the past. I think this is broth that Adam made and froze, and he'll use it later. Everything else is just stuff we have purchased. But so use your freezer as a resource to help you be less wasteful. So also some other things that you can do to preserve some of your veggies. I'll give you some tips. Like for me, whenever I buy green onions, and I don't buy them often because I do this a lot, what I do is I clean them off and then put them in water, and obviously not too much water, and I change the water every couple of days, and then I just trim the ends whenever they start getting brown. So like you could see here, like this one, so like that one's a little bit like yellow. If it turned brown, I would just cut, like do like a little snip, and they last way longer when you put them in water. And I also have a little bit of cilantro as well. So when you are buying these things, obviously I much rather have a plant, and that is my goal for spring, like try to get some herbs that are actual plants, and rather than buying them at the grocery store. But at least for the green onions, they last me so long, and then finally when I go through them and use the whole thing, like it's been like a month or two before I actually need to buy anything else. So things that have roots, or like your herbs, if you just find, like there are a lot of resources online, and maybe I'll do a video about like some tips about keeping your food. What I do for the cilantro, I usually groom it before putting it away, and I usually just take the leaves off and put them in a container. And you do need to use either like a cheesecloth or a paper napkin to keep the moisture away from the leaves, that way they last longer. But the rest I just keep them, and this is all I have left, but I've been using it every day. I just keep it in a glass with a little bit of water, and usually it lasts a long time. I think I got that like probably like three weeks ago or so. It was a lot, but now I'm almost out. But yeah, so there are ways that you can keep your vegetables a lot, like, you know, like fresher, and that will last you longer. But also plan, like honestly, I think that is the biggest thing that will help you. If you are planning out your meals and looking at what you have now and try to incorporate what you have in the refrigerator into those meals, it will, you know, it will save it will save you money, and it will also help you produce less food waste. But another thing that I wanted to say, I don't want to make this video like super long, but if you end up buying extra things, like, you know, for us when we go to Costco, we're very mindful about what we buy there, because we know that 2 people in our household cannot consume, you know, a lot of the stuff that they sell like in huge packs. So you know, we buy the essential things that we need, but we don't, you know, like just buy extra stuff because we know we can't eat it. Or if we end up buying something because, you know, we want it or whatever, we tend to share it. Like if we have leftover cookies, instead of letting them go to waste or throw them out, I take them to the office and like share them with my coworkers. So if you have, you know, if you made a lot of food for, you know, like you made a huge dish of something and you know that you're not going to be able to finish all of that, like pack up a little bit in a container and share it with a friend, or bring it to your coworkers, or If you know that there's a shelter that accepts food, then you can go ahead and do that as well. I mean, there are so many creative ways to just be mindful about wasting less food. I think this is probably one of my favorite challenges about the zero waste challenge, just because you know, there are so many people in the world that don't have enough to eat. Sometimes they don't even have a meal or anything like that. Food is scarce, or you know, they live in poverty, and right now we have the luxury of being able to eat whatever we want and have so much that sometimes we end up throwing away. And I think that before, again, you know, like something goes bad in your household, like try to use it, try to share it with others, try to find a way to, you know, reuse veggie scraps. You can make veggie stock with your veggie scraps. If your bananas, you know, are getting mushy, cut them up and freeze them so then you could use them with smoothies and things like that. I think there are a lot of ways that, like I said, there are tons of ways that we can reduce our food waste if we're just more mindful. And I think it's becoming a theme in every single video about this whole challenge. It's really not that hard to do. It's just a matter of us being mindful and aware of those things that are happening around us. Like if you're gonna go grocery shopping, buy what you need. Not just because something is on sale and it's 2 for $5. You don't need 2 of them, just get what you need. And I think this ties in again with minimalism, and I think that's something that I mentioned in one of my other videos. That is another aspect I am exploring. I'm not gonna say I'm a minimalist. I would eventually like to be, maybe. I think I need to learn a lot more about it, but I definitely like the idea of not wasting food, especially not only because you know, it saves you money and it's good for the environment because we're not creating the high demand of things and just wasting them, but it's just because we need to be really mindful. There are so many people out there in the world that just don't have a meal tonight, and you know, here we are throwing food away, and it just makes me really sad. And at the same time, obviously I'm grateful because I'm able to have the things that I need, but it makes me really, really sad that, you know, like 40% of our food goes to waste, and there are people out there that just don't have a meal. So just think about that. You know, I think it's something that we all need to reflect on, and we need to be more mindful. Again, simple things, just buy what you need. Try to reuse things that, you know, like they're about to go bad, like figure out a way to use them. Share if you have extra stuff, share with friends, share with family, share with those that need it. I think also a good way to not waste food is really, really plan out your meals. And if you know that you're gonna go out for dinner on Wednesday, then don't get that extra stuff that's just gonna go bad. So I'm not gonna make this video any longer, but I think day 9 has probably been one of my favorite messages from the zero waste challenge so far. It just makes me be a little more conscious and mindful about the things that I'm buying, and truly just, you know, being appreciative for what I have. And yeah, so I'm just gonna end it here, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, do try to waste less food. Think of those really that are in need, and that might help you not waste as much food.